Hello, this is Stuart. Hear Me, See Me podcast, and today I've got a guy I've never met before, I've never spoken before, but I feel like I really know him. We've connected on a level on Instagram. The weird thing that happens sometimes. A good friend of mine. I first noticed him. A good friend of mine, Scroobius Pip. He done a wonderful image of him, and it blew me away. And I started looking at the rest of his work, and his work's absolutely stunning. He does a lot of the female form, but there's a lot of soul behind it that always seems to, I don't know, just resonates with me. I'm not an art critic or anything, but I just love what he does. Today I'm talking to the wonderful Dáire Lynch. How are you doing, sir?
Morning, Stuart. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you coping?
It's no difference than any other day. It's 90% of the time alone.
Yeah,
painting outside, no social interaction. So it's business as usual.
So interestingly, you're like with Ireland being in lockdown. Is it something that you, as your general lifestyle, it's not as impactful as maybe some other people?
Yes. Well, in the aspect, I don't go to pubs. If I was to socialise with someone, I'd rather have a coffee and sit down and chat with them somewhere. But again, I've moved to West Cork. Everybody I know is further afield. So in that aspect, the lockdown hasn't been good because we have been locked to counties.
Right.
So, my family, my folks are 4 hours away, of friends at that kind of distance. So.
Oh, right. Yeah.
That's the only impact it's been. It's not been able to go see my folks.
Yeah. Yeah, we've been lucky. We've just this week come out of lockdown, and but I'm lucky that my mum's 83 and she lives a short drive away, and my sister lives in the next road to her, so she's not been left without anyone.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I get you. That is been the hard. But the first time round, it was very difficult. We used to have to go and visit her sit in the garden, and then she'd give me this little. She used to break me up because as I'm leaving, she'd give me this little heart sign, out the window. And you don't think of them as old and vulnerable until you see things like that, do you?
Yeah, well, I don't think of my folks as old or vulnerable at all. But yeah, I get you. I've seen them. I'd say maybe 10 days in this entire year, 2020, since March, and I haven't hugged them yet. And we're very huggy people.
Yeah.
I especially am. I saw my folks, and it's just strange not to be able to contact, hug them. You see them, and when you're leaving, it feels like unfinished business. You're like, I'll just go there, will I?
Yeah.
So,
yes, a bit standoffish. Are you? So take me back. So you said about your folks and that. Take me back to like when you're a young man. What was life like for you as a young man?
In my eyes, I had a blissful childhood growing up. My parents have just always been so supportive and the most loving people I know. So they nurtured art, nurtured fishing again. I think my dad said when I was about 3, I just out of the blue went, I want to go fishing. And he had to go buy a fishing rod and get that side of it. So I just had a great childhood growing up in Dublin.
Yeah. Oh, it was in Dublin, was it?
Yeah, I'm from Dublin. I moved to Mayo about 2009, 2010.
Yeah.
Intended to move there for about 6 months, and I stayed there for a decade. So.
Oh, right. So what sort of drew you? So your parents had an affinity with art, did they?
Yeah, again, they've always been quite creative with it. They, bring us to the National Gallery a lot as kids. But then an awful lot of the outdoors, they bring us. We had a place called St. Anne's Park, which is on the north side of Dublin. We've Bullwall, Dudley Mount, that's the beach. So that's the way they've nurtured that in me, and maybe that's where it's come from. My love of the beach, art. There's just always art supplies around. You want to draw, you want to create.
Yeah.
So, that's my folks.
And it's a beautiful part of the world as well, isn't it? It's very inspirational. Like,
I love Dublin. Yeah, I mean, you can go into the Dublin city centre and be guaranteed to meet someone you know. Yeah. It's not a huge city, but it's a welcoming city. Have you been further outside of the city, or have you gone to the countryside?
When I mainly when I go to do haircuts frontless, it is all around Dublin because we work from the Capuchin Day Centre and the wonderful brother Kevin. So
He's a lovely man, isn't he?
Oh, it just makes me feel so humble, like, because you think you're trying to do your best, and then you meet someone like him, and you just feel you fall so far short, like of your potential as a human being, which is not. He doesn't even make you. He doesn't do that on purpose. He's just such a wonderful person, But yeah, I've been years and years ago. I've been more Southern Ireland. I've got family in Carrick, next to Waterford, near Waterford, Carrick on Shore, and it's funny because that sort of, I've got a bit of two lives going on, because I'm sort of 14 years sober, so the early part of life is different to this one. and the early part of my life fitted very well with life in Carrick, like it was the pubs and the,
social, yeah, they do have that.
So welcoming and social, and we went back last year to my brother-in-law's had a birthday out there, and they make you so welcome, like everyone's around the house. They have a big fry in the morning, and it's just people everywhere. It's just stunning.
So when you go to a bar or somewhere, there's no strangers, they're just friends you haven't met yet.
Yeah. Yeah. And the people of Dublin as well, like when I've been there, they've shown such character. I mean, people in, I get to meet the people in sort of very, very poor circumstances, or, unlucky circumstances, but they've got such pride, and such camaraderie. There's a real strength in the Irish and the Dublin culture. It's very impressive.
Yeah, something we pride ourselves on.
Yeah. So explain your work to me. So where did you? What would have been your first sort of? How would your work been? Because I haven't gone a long way back. What was your? How did your art start back?
Don't go too far back. So I'm self-taught.
Right.
I did a 1-year course in animation drawing studies, which would basically teach you how to draw. You think you can draw beforehand, and then you go, "Oh no, I can't."
Yeah.
And you do that for the year with the anticipation of going into animation. But I started training in the animation, and it just wasn't for me, so I left. So the painting aspect of it is all self-taught.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of where I began with the training on it.
Yeah.
I've always just painted, but I've had, what we call conventional jobs, what a lot of people call real jobs, along the way. And I went full-time art in 2008 when I got made redundant from a company.
Yeah.
That's when I just threw it all in and began full-time 2008. So yeah.
It was what strikes me about your work is the real human part of it.
Yeah, I think that's what I try and convey. I try and convey just emotion, just the human condition. I like trying to put the person's essence in it, the little smiles.
That's fun. I don't know how to make it silent. Sorry. Don't worry.
Do you want to get it?
No. We don't even answer it. Don't know why we've got it. Yeah, sorry. Crack on, mate.
So what was I rambling about?
You were saying about because I said about the thing.
Oh yeah. The two aspects are like the figurative work and the nudes. I love painting, but I don't enjoy painting landscapes outdoors, skies and seas. I just can't. It doesn't do anything for me. But I love I would like the landscape with the human form. The curves, the creases, the realness. Though I love the stretch marks and the hairs of people and just real humans. I don't want to airbrush it and paint something fluffy. I just want to try and capture what it is to be human, I guess.
It comes across because whenever you see it, as you say, it's not a pretty picture. It's a beautiful picture.
Yeah, it's
between the pretty image and the beauty. But it's so deep, a lot of it, that it conjures an emotion. I think that's the thing what I find when I look at it. I think as well you must have only because I can recognise it. You must have a dark side to you.
I, yeah, I guess I get this photos of my child. I guess I'm quite solemn and not morose, but I do have a dark kind of but dark humor and a dark kind of this in that side of things, I suppose. Yeah.
Yeah, because you've done that portrait and of the one where there's like different images of you, like almost like battling yourself.
Yeah, I think we all have those battles.
Yeah.
But yeah, I try and convey more than just, like you've said, I don't want to just paint pretty pictures. I'm trying to capture things, but without giving too much away of yourself. I still try and pull some of that back.
Yeah.
But I think it's my job as an artist, to just paint things as they are. People's emotions and both their masks and the real person, but it's the real person I prefer to try and get.
Yeah.
Like back to the painting you referred to about Pip, that's it was great to meet him. It was one of the first known folk for me to paint, and that just contacted me straight back. He used to have his email in his MySpace, or he just emailed me and emailed him right back. But that one it's called Quill and Coil. It's got the microphone coil for the spoken word music, and the quill for the writing, and the wordsmithery.
Yeah.
Wordsmithery is a word. So I'm trying to get those elements of people into the paintings, but without bashing people on the head with it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a subtlety about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. What drew you to Pip then? What did you approach him?
Yeah, I just I knew from someone his music they'd shown to me, and then I learned of him from that. He seemed like an interesting character. It's decent people that I'm drawn to, the kind of way, honest, hardworking, nice folks. I'm not into star hugging. I don't want to go chasing the light way to say. People, I'm not trying to get on the coattails of anyone. If I'm painting someone that's well known, it's because they're civic minded, they're nice humans.
Yeah.
Or if they're just everyday people, I do love just painting everyday people. When I lived in Galway, I had a studio for life drawing. So I could try and life draw each week because you get super rusty. It's you have to practice. And I rarely worked with trained professional models. It's just everyday people I just put a message up, who wants to pose? But people have never posed, never been naked or nude in front of a stranger, and I'm just sitting there like, let's draw. We just talk, and yeah, they forget they're sitting there like that. It's quite a natural thing. You're just talking, you're learning about the person, drawing away and chatting, and some of that goes into it. You can see the poses change from the kind of confined ones at the start, and then they're just more relaxed and comfortable and just themselves. They're not hiding the creases of flesh.
Yeah. That there must be a point where you see it tip, where they go from tense to relaxed.
There could be a lot of sort of back poses and closed off bodies, and then they're just like arms flaying, chatting away, and just they actually enjoy the experience. I hope, but
yeah.
And then I gain from it because I can get to create to my work. So
yeah. How was so with early this year? Obviously, everything closed down. Have you found it a struggle? Like financially with that? Has it affected you?
Financially, no. Because I'm filthy rich from being an artist.
Good man.
No, I don't make a living. I make an existence. But I live frugally anyway. The biggest impact has been actually I haven't been able to work with people. I haven't been able to do photo shoots for paintings. Certainly haven't done any life drawing and stuff. But it's I used to do an awful lot of photo shoots, and then I kind of have them, and I could work off them for do some drawings and some preps, and then maybe do a big painting. But I've had no one to work with.
Right.
My fiance is here, but we've done some drawings and some works together. But as I said, I like to work with new people all the time instead of just an insight into new people's lives.
Yeah.
So that's something I've missed. But that's been the greatest impact. Financially, my sales have always got to be kind of the same. Like my bread and butter is the smaller end of the market with drawings, portraits, family portraits, gift portraits, and they'll keep my utilities paid. And I don't drink. I don't have any crazy vices, so I have nothing to spend money on otherwise.
Yeah. Nice
Live
way
within
to
your
be.
means.
Took me a long time to get like that. It's not easy though, is it?
Yeah, well, I find if I have more money, I am less inclined to work. I'm less inspired to create or to uh, start trying to shill portraits, shill print. You know, I get lazy, I complacent because I'm like, the bills are paid. Now, I'm still
Yeah,
painting my larger paintings, but I'm not making the day-to-days. And
yeah,
that can dry up, in a second. And
yeah,
people think paintings might be expensive, but the hundreds and hundreds of hours you put into that work, and then if you say it sells for 3 or 4 thousand, you might not make another sale for 6 or 8 months of that. So you kind of have to, when it comes in, just pretend it doesn't exist. But most of my income is, my portraits are 150 to 200 for the watercolor portraits of the drawings. That's my day to days.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I think that's generally the thing of humans, us human beings, that we never really see the full picture. Sorry about the pun, but you never see the full thing of it, the story of it, because I see, because I love fighting. I love. I'm too old to physically do it, but I like watching fighting now, and I people just go, oh, they've earned all that money like for half an hour's work, or if it's a quick finish, But
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
3 months training camp. There's 3 months without their family. There's 3 months of really starving, and then when they cut weight, so there's all of them things,
yeah.
And I've
Studying.
been in a sauna with some fighters when they're cutting weight, and it's painful to watch,
Yeah. Well, that's it. It's people ask you how long a painting takes, and you can say it might take a few weeks, but realistically, it's taken me 40 years. Well, you know,
Yeah,
30 years. I'm 40 now, so maybe I started drawing when I was 10.
yeah,
But that's how long it's taken. It's not, oh yeah, I just lashed this together. And if you can just lash it together, it's because you've put in the hours and you've learned you've honed your style.
yeah, yeah. And I think if you did, the amount of soul that's in your work, it wouldn't be there, would it? If you was just lashing it out, I think you can't fake that stuff.
Yeah, I've tried. Like I've tried doing. Um, I've tried doing. There was a time I did landscapes and sell them through a bistro. And they're local scenes, so that in itself has the element where it would resonate with me. It's where I grew up. I remember hanging out there with friends and sitting there in the summer. But if someone just says to me, can you paint this landscape down here? It just kind of leaves me cold. And then I feel like I'm dialing it in, and then I feel like a fraud, and then I beat myself up a little bit. So,
It's mad,
but I'll
isn't
still,
it? All that stuff that we do to ourselves,
isn't it? We overthink and analyze. We could just look, visualize, and create it, but like, no, this has no meaning to me, so I can't do this.
Yeah.
So,
I,
but at the
I
end of the day, you do it.
yeah. I had a bad night yesterday. Last night I said, right, the night before I woke up at 3:30 in the morning, and then that was it. That was like I was still awake at 6:30, and I was having to get up then. And
Just
all
overthinking and
all of this stuff was so like crucially important at 3 o'clock in the morning and 4 o'clock and 5.
oh, it
But
is. It
then
is.
you wake up and you think, I don't even really know what I've been thinking about. Like, what is this thing in our head
I don't
that
know,
does this to us?
but I'll do it for positive things as well, because if I've decided I'm going kayaking, taking a mental health day and just going to go kayak the next day, I'll lie in bed for hours thinking, okay, I have this rod and this rod, and I'm going to put this rig on this rod and this one on this, and I'll have these, and but I get there, the goal goes out the window. You don't do any of it. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's equally the other way. I stay up late anyway. So if I try and go to bed, I will lie there overthinking.
Yeah.
So I prefer to paint all night, and then when I'm fall dead tired, I go to bed, and
Yeah.
I'm gone.
Yeah.
So,
Sleep of the righteous. Are you, so that's interesting what you said, because you said when I take a mental health day.
yeah, I think it's important. Like I work hard. I work long hours. I'll get up to the crack of 11 or 12 usually, but I'll paint till 7 or 8 in the morning.
Right.
So during the day though, there's an awful lot of there's admin, and you have to go do this, there's housework, there's responsibilities of being a human being in society, interactions. But then when I get in the studio properly, so maybe 8 or 9, I'm just in there.
Yeah.
And that's when I, work. So then when it comes to mental health days, I don't feel guilty then if I decide, right, the weather forecast tomorrow is a nice window, I'm going to just take the day, go out.
Yeah.
It's important.
It's
Otherwise,
important. I think that's language is really important to me. And I think a lot of people could learn from that, because you're not saying I'm going to book today off. I've booked
no, yeah,
health day.
no,
That's
it's not.
really
I
bad.
don't like days off, and I don't view it that way. It's going out there, and I'm going to the outdoors. If it's just even just a walk, it doesn't have to be fishing or kayaking, or just to get out, sit in the shoreline.
Yeah.
Look for like these little mermaids purses, these little they're shark cases, egg cases.
Oh yeah.
Just collect them up, and just get out in the shoreline, walk the shoreline, look in there, and if you're put a focus on something like that, it's kind of like meditation. You're walking the seaweed line, and you're spotting for interesting things. You're not up here torturing yourself,
Yeah.
So yeah, mental health definitely.
Yeah. That's. I think that's really. I'm going to use that. I'm definitely. Like I'm going to book mental health days off. No, I said off. I still said off.
It is a day. Well, it is, but it's important. It's nurturing that part of it, because if you stay indoors constantly, you'll just drive yourself mad.
Yeah.
Or if you're cutting every day and you're doing great work, but it's going to start, it takes so much of you, I'm sure, that you'll just get burned out. You just be like, oh, I don't want to see people today. Or
Yeah.
So you do need that time. And again, that's all the things I do are focus based, I suppose, with me, in that if I'm looking in the rock pools, I'm not thinking of, I have to do this, I have to do my returns, I have to send those emails. If I'm standing watching a rod tip in the pitch black at 10 o'clock at night, I'm just watching this little neon light, just the anticipation of it moving, and that's all I'm focused on. So
yeah.
And I come home, and Gina is just like, you're so different when you come back, and I'm like, hello.
Yeah.
And then the solemn Daire comes back.
Do you think you're easy to live with?
I think so. I can be not short tempered. I'm not throwing fits and stuff, but I can be quite snappy, because I'll be thinking of something. I think that is one of my flaws, I guess. But no, I am. I mean, I love to cook. I love to wash the dishes.
Yeah.
Again, maybe the dishes, I'm just washing this, and I'm not thinking. But yeah, I think so. I hope so.
I'll email her later and ask her.
She'll be like, nice prick.
Yeah, just say, yeah, what a prick he is. I get that because of the work I do. I sometimes get, it's very nice, but I get this sort of public praise sometimes. And my kids like, do they know you?
Gina said the exact thing to me. I think Gina has actually said the exact thing about me. Like, who are they talking about?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's that yeah.
Yeah. So, what would you say is sort of the main driving force for you to keep working? What keeps you working?
Because we're all just dust in the wind, and we're spinning out of time on this existential. Time is not slowing down, and we're spinning to the grave. So I just want to leave my footprints in the sand. No, it's I'm just always driven to create, and I always think there's not enough hours, not enough things I want to get done. I do question it sometimes when I get too deep and say, what's the point? Like, I'm sitting here or standing, I'm pushing colored dirt around mixed with oil on something, making a picture of something that already exists, or work based on it. But that's me breaking everything down to the futile level. That's like a chef saying, why would I make a nice meal when it's just sugar and flour and stuff?
Yeah.
So that's too much on it. I go that way on it, but what drives me, I suppose, is I want to affect people. Like when I get back to that, I think, what's the point of what I do? And I realized what I do is the solace for people. Like the frontline workers could be out saving lives, doing important stuff. Surgeons could be helping people and saving lives, and they're exhausted. And then they could go home and listen to the music that soothes and calms them. They can watch the movies or TV shows, or what I do, they can look at the art that they bought and they love that painting, and it could bring them to a place that they used to be. Remind them of an old lover or something like that. So I think I'm kind of that side of the solace. I think that's what I can bring to the table.
Yeah, I can really see that. And that's the thing of it. It's because of the emotions that your work conjures. It is something that keeps giving. But that I do recognise that when that you question what you're doing. I get that myself when even with the homeless. Well, I love what I do. I've been doing it a long time now. But every now and then I just get overwhelmed by it's almost like a futility, because when you have, like yesterday, I met a lady and she had long hair and she wanted it all cut in a bob. And it was the worst time. I only had wet cut equipment. I didn't have any styling, and I thought, oh no, I could do without this today.
Yeah.
But when I'd finished, she was beaming. I put a little picture of her face and she was beaming, and it makes the hairs on my hands stand up because the connection that I had with her. But that's when I realised it is worth doing. But sometimes in the general picture, I think, what are we doing? We're scratching the surface. We can't really make a difference. It's that you're torn all the time. You understand what I mean?
Yeah, but the good thing is that you do strive then to make that difference. You say, look, there must be something. I must be able to do something to help and move us all forward. Just be kind to people. I suppose that's the difference. Like that's what you're doing. You're not just giving a haircut. You're giving them a human touch. An interaction. You're treating them like a human, not just someone sitting on the side of the path. People are trying to ignore. You're actually on. You matter.
Yeah.
So that's what you're doing, and that's what I'd hope to do as well. Then I'll explain this without. A lot of people post for me. They'll have body issues, as we all do. Like I'm not too comfortable getting my top off in front of people and stuff. But a lot of people afterwards will say that it helped them. They found themselves looking beautiful in the images, but they just the entire experience it relieves them of any kind of tensions on that, and that makes me feel good in return. Then, and it quells that self-loathing for maybe half an
hour. Because I think what it is in a way is probably a great antidote to the Instagram culture that's developed, which is really unhealthy.
Yeah. Well, we can all fall into the culture of content. You're drawing away, and you're like, oh, I need to. This drawing is turning out well. I'm gonna have to throw this up, and it's gonna get loads of likes, and it veritably doesn't. But yeah, the culture of the airbrushing, and everyone has to portray this great image of no, just portray yourself as you are, right? Like, try and do the best. And that's much more sincere, and through that sincerity, you'll get that interaction, the connection.
Yeah.
So yeah, in that aspect.
I saw there was a documentary recently. I believe you might have even painted her as a girl called Jess. Is it?
Yeah, Jess
Megan, I think her name is. I'm not
Megan,
yeah. And they done like a body positivity documentary. It was fascinating, and it was so refreshing. I mean, I've got 4 daughters. I've got a son, 4 daughters, 2 granddaughters, grandson. So like that, I'm surrounded by women. Is what I'm trying to say. And I've witnessed, especially the younger ones, like the effect of body consciousness has had on them, because they're all different. They're all different people. They're all different personalities, but they're all different physiques as well.
Yes.
and it's the response that one might get as opposed to the other one, and the emphasis they put on that. So I think people like when your work, what you do, people like that Jess who does what she does, and many others, it's so powerful, but so needed at the moment.
It really is. It is the antidote to it all. Like Jess is no holds barred. She's just like, here I am, celebrating who the human is. And she tells people that it's not just like, look, here I am, and I'm happy and comfortable who I am. She's basically saying, you are wonderful. Celebrate who you are. Don't be afraid of that. Don't care what they say about this. Don't worry about folds of skin and hair and stuff. So yeah, she's wonderful for that. And that whole movement as a whole is there's an awful lot of those. They transcend being influencers, even though they're influencing in that direction. They go to the level. It is the body positive, celebrating that, and then moving away from the airbrushing and even though we all do that, touches of it. It's not our crutch. Like I do often wonder and almost lament before internet. You'd be going somewhere and you'd see something and you just enjoy it, and then part of your mind goes, nowadays it's all phones out. I'm guilty of myself. Like if I'm kayaking and a seal pops up next to me, I'm like, I have to film this instead of just enjoying the interaction.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's that aspect of it as well.
I've been interested to think as well. Like you said about different things about your work and aspects of that. What's your opinions and what is your feelings about faith? What sort of faith have you got in this world?
Religious faith?
Whatever. Any?
No, I'm from the school of, well, I was raised Catholic because in Ireland in the 80s, you had to be Catholic to get into a school.
Yeah.
But my folks don't have a religion. I don't. My religion is just be nice, don't be an asshole. I try and be as courteous and friendly and lovely to anyone, and if you're an arsehole to me, I'll be an arsehole back.
Yeah.
But that's my faith. Yeah. I think if I had a faith, I'd be dreading the spinning clock and worried about, it's ticking down, I'm going to die, and oh shit, where am I going to go? And, I just try and live day to day and be decent, I suppose, is my faith.
Not be an arsehole.
Yeah, well, not be as much of an arsehole. Yeah, like I think people are, deep down, most people are good, and I always try and see the good in people. Like even things that are going on in the States, the cretinous behavior of a lot of those politicians, but then they go home and they will be a loving granddad or grandma. And I try and think of that aspect of it, because they are still humans. They may be deeply flawed by greed or whatever drives them.
Yeah.
But I try and think of the good in them. Otherwise, you'll just have this disdain for everybody, and then you'll become this kind of darker, grumblier person. So I guess that's my faith. Faith in humanity.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. Because it fascinates me. I've looked at all different faiths, and people with a strong faith interest me. And then you meet someone like Brother Kevin, who you can only see a positivity in his faith and what it produces.
Yeah.
But then I've met many. I work across the spectrum because I've worked with Sikhs on. The homeless cause brings everyone together because it's everyday people wanting to do good, and so I see interesting aspects of all different faiths, but I think it all boils down to that, and it's having that faith in humanity.
Yeah,
that
it doesn't matter what people believe in, and if that helps them be decent, that's great.
Yeah.
It's when it goes the other way, when they use that to corrupt, like the deeply religious zealots, and they're like, oh no, it says this, and
yeah,
it goes polar opposite to everything that the faith that they claim is theirs states. That's what I'm getting at. But no, I agree with you on I love having deep theological conversations with people that have strong faith because it interests me.
Yeah.
But personally, I just don't believe in the afters and stuff. I think we're just monkeys with anxiety, and it's all by chance.
I'm going to quote that one, which is monkeys with anxiety.
Sure, I stole it from somewhere. So.
Oh, I don't care. It's new to me anyway. Yeah, because it's. I think what it was your work. A lot of it seems very iconic. You know, like no, iconic's the wrong word. You know, like it's got that religious aspect to it.
Yeah, that's probably down to the lighting. It's quite like I use contrasting strong lighting, and that kind of makes the figures look that way, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's just all by chance, I think.
Yeah.
Unless that's what you take from it, then I intended it 100%.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I've got that. The thing as well, I find, and you said you're not classically trained, you're self-taught, but when like you sometimes hone in on areas of a certain image, and it's the detail is so fine, you know.
That's a self-taught. Well, I say self-taught. I mean, I use YouTube tutorials for years.
Yeah.
Before that, it was just trial and error because I didn't have YouTube. It was practice and practice and practice. What I've learned, the details, you get more finesse because years ago I might have done a painting. Start the painting and do one pass, one layer, one pass. You paint the painting, there, I'm done. But if you come back to it again, it's like anything in life. If you reappraise it and go, look with it fresh eyes and go, well, I'll do this again. And you basically paint the same painting on top of itself 6 or 8 or 10 times. And each time you're adding things you didn't see before, little flecks of color, dimples and stuff.
Yeah.
Yes, that's that level of it. It's why it's getting better. It's kind of hard to eradicate a lot of the internet. You spend hours on Google trying to get the spiders to climb through random old websites you had when you were 20 going, how do I get this stuff off the internet? But to drive that, then I just try and paint better for myself. But you put that online and push the other stuff below. So hopefully be left with just.
Wait, is it sometimes difficult to then say that's enough? Is it?
Yeah, I never finish a painting. I just give up on it. You kind of go, yeah, there. That's what I was.
You've had enough out of me. You're done.
Yeah,
you're done.
Well, I'll always have maybe 6 to 10 paintings on the go, so you can kind of jump back and forth to them. And then it is a lovely day, that last day when you know you're at the finish line. You're just using the tiny brush and you dab and you put little flecks and marks, and you stand back and go, yeah. And then you come back the next day and you just walk in the studio and you see it and you're, it's a piece of shit. But it's that, because then that happens, you go, right, the next painting is going to be even better, and that drives you.
Yeah.
I think if I got happy with all the work I did, I'd just sit back and just become stagnant.
Yeah.
So that's what drives me, I guess, is to create something better, put more narrative, put more emotion into it, which is something I'm guilty of not doing because of when I do photo shoots. Again, no one showed me how to use the camera. I try to jiggery poke, figure it out. It's the way I shoot it. People kind of are quite stagnant into the pose. I'd love to put more emotion and people interacting, multi-figures. So that's my next goal after COVID, is multiple people in my paintings.
Yeah.
Which require multiple shoots, which is more, people's schedules, logistics.
Yeah, good luck with that. That's gonna take a little while, isn't it?
Well, I think the first step is to shoot them outdoors.
Yeah.
So nighttime shoots, on beaches with torches.
Oh yeah.
That's kind of how I worked. Like the secret behind the Pip one actually is, I'd never met Pip. We met in a friend's gallery in Dublin. We went downstairs to a spray paint shop that was downstairs in the basement. Then we went into the closet, which is the storage closet, and I had a torch stuck on a mic stand hanging off the shelf. Sat Pip on a seat and we shot in there for maybe an hour, I think.
Right.
And then off we went. So I shoot just like I paint. It's all just chance of my arm, I think.
Yeah. Limitation leads to creation, they say.
Exactly.
Another fine one. So what it's looking like. I mean, is it out of lockdown over there now?
No, we're in from level 5, which was within 5 kilometers of your abode, which works in the cities, but down here, you have to drive 7 kilometers just to get to the shop. So, but now we're in sustainer counties until the 18th of December.
Right.
Then you can travel around Ireland. It's purely so they can placate people, so they can see family and stuff for Christmas, because it probably push the numbers back up. But yeah, that's going to be the fact. There's still going to be go out of county to other counties, but they don't want too many households mixing. I think it's 2 households can visit one. The wet bars are still closed, but the gastro pubs and restaurants are open for inside dining now.
Yeah. Well, hopefully, you know, if it runs its course, you know, by please God, next summer, or you know what I mean, just getting out there. But I would really love to come and see you one day. You know, like if I'm in Ireland. Oh yeah. Wow. Yeah.
You're always welcome to. You know, I love people visiting for short term.
I won't overstay me welcome.
No, like old fish, isn't it? After 2 days, guests start to smell like old fish.
Yeah.
No, yeah, you're always welcome to. You know?
Yeah. Well, when I finally get back to Dublin, is what I'm saying. Maybe I'll take an extra day on, and you know.
I love the excuse to go to Dublin as well, though. Equally. You know?
All right. Well, come and see us at the centre. Yeah. It goes without saying. But yeah, come and see us at the centre, because you know, if you love people, the people there, honestly.
Yeah, I love the stories you can get from people, and you know, look at people in the eyes, I suppose.
Yeah. You'd love some of the people there. They're just, and I think that's what I try and do. We sometimes get a bit of flack for taking pictures, and so my answer is to them that we're very respectful. We make sure that they're 100% okay with having a picture taken.
Yeah.
But B, you'd be surprised how much they really relish the thought of being acknowledged and having their image taken. And then lastly, what I try and do is just get that look to camera so I can see into their eyes.
That's exactly what I get. I don't get from what you're doing going, oh, look what we did. This person was all shaggy and you know, looking this way. We polished them up. Yeah. I see you going, look at this human, and then we've given them love and care, and look at them. You can see it in their faces after. It's the happiness. It's the joy of just the interaction.
Oh, thanks for that.
I don't see you using it. Now, obviously, you need to promote it. You know, so you're doing that aspect of it, but I don't see you using the people at all. That's the difference, I guess.
Yeah, that's what we try and get across. Right, okay, my friend. Well, it's been fascinating talking to you.
To talk to you.
I feel like I now know the man behind the images a little bit. You didn't give too much away.
Well, as much as my rambling mind, I've only got 4 hours sleep, so I'm going to think back. What did I say?
Yeah, don't worry. It'll be on YouTube forever.
I'm hopefully so.
For eternity.
Good.
Oh, thank you so much, mate. And it's 100% a date. As soon as I can get back to Ireland, I'll be in touch and we can hook up.
I look forward to it. I really do.
Thank you. Keep doing what you're doing. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, man.